All right, let's do this in the upper left. Finally, somebody managed to defeat Sniper, and this is our player. He is
Flayers Coca.
There he is.
He's growing his hair out since I last casted him.
Yeah. My hair actually used to look like that when I was younger, when I was about his age.
Bottom right, we have our Protoss players, a player I've never casted before. I'm interested in seeing what he has to offer. He is
MVP Lua.
He's a very good player. I've seen his PvP be solid, but also he has the ability to use a lot of cheese builds in that matchup. Like I said, that's the one I've seen the most by far out of him. And Coca has the history of being a great ZVP player, but times have changed since that was the case.
That is true. Now, you know, he's been, you know, the players here for MVP are probably feeling pretty good. They're probably saying, well, we basically won. So I'm under the impression they're sending Lura out there for experience.
Yes.
You know, it doesn't really matter if Lure, loses. They have DRG. They got a bunch of other great players. They got Tails. So
that's
that. I mean, that's
like 150% correct, man. That's absolutely the reason why they're sending him out here, just for experience, because they know he's a good player, but he might get nervous because he's very. I mean, in fact, I don't think he's ever played in the booth when he's on air. Like I said, I think he's played on the Code A days where we don't have camera shots. So he's never really been like in the spotlight where there's a crowd in the studio watching him. So,
and this is how you foster a good team.
Yes.
You got to make sure, okay, you cannot have a team where it's like, we have 3 really good players and the rest of the guys, they train with them, but they, you know, have anxiety attacks when they play and lose.
Yes. I mean, we've seen coaches say this time and time again when they pick certain players on their head, saying, well, I want him to have more experience.
Yeah.
Everything going according to plan so far for both players. The hatchery not significantly delayed, and the Nexus going down quite on time. Everything just flowing for both players. No interruptions whatsoever. Probe stole some minerals, though. He's a thief.
Thief Probe.
Yeah.
Could chop his little probe hands off.
Do probes hold crystals with their mouths? Do they have mouths? What is it? I mean, would you call that a mouth?
No.
I don't think so.
I would not call it a mouth. It's definitely a particle beam.
Drones have claws they grab with. Probes have particle
Well, drones, if you zoom in on them, actually have little boxing gloves.
Yes. They're not really
That's why they're terrible at typing.
Just like Strongbad.
Only Strongbad can do that,
yeah. Man, he's the only one.
Do they still make stuff for Strongbad?
You know, I went there about 2 weeks ago because I asked myself the same question.
And I used to go to that site all the time. I don't know why. I just like stopped going, but I love stuff like that.
They occasionally update. It seems like I think the last update they had may have been like a year and a half ago, but it seems like they revamped the site
you know what they actually did? I heard there's a Strongbad graphic adventure.
Yes.
It was one of the same guys that remade Sam & Max. Did you ever play Sam & Max?
No, but I've heard about it a lot.
Sam & Max is really good. Monkey's Island, really good.
Caldor was telling me about Monkey's Island.
Oh, he played Monkey's Island?
Yeah.
So he's from that generation. We're from that generation, Wolf.
I gotta get.
You should get. Actually, what you should do if really is actually get the very, very, very first Monkey's Island.
Okay.
From LucasArts.
I will do that.
It's actually really fun.
Well, I like LucasArts games, so I bet.
Yeah.
I bet.
And then if you like that one, you should get. I think the best one is actually Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis.
Okay.
It's sick.
All right, man.
I love it.
This is my birthday present from you, man. You just told me good game recommendations.
I'm just bestowing nerd knowledge on you. And then but the remakes of Sam & Max you can actually download.
Okay, cool.
Telltale Games makes them, I think, but they're good. And they're funny, too.
I'm looking forward to this.
Did you ever play Graphic Adventures?
You know, not really.
Because that's like this. It's almost like this dead genre that I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I remember one of my friends who stayed at my apartment sometimes had an iPad, and he showed me this game he had on his iPad that was basically a graphic adventure, and I tried to play it, and I actually had a lot of fun with it, but it was a newer game. It wasn't like an old game remade, but it's like something you can play on your iPad, and I was like, oh, okay. It seems kind of fun. I could get why this was really popular a while ago.
Right. When the games had to be more linear.
Like I don't think I would ever find myself playing like in a command prompt one of those games. It's like what you see.
I actually played text-based because I played the original Zork. I played a bunch of the old Zork games.
I feel like I should go back and experience these things. Maybe I should.
They're
What do you recommend? I mean, do you think
I
it's
would
worth
say
it?
to play a text-based game.
Yeah.
I don't know if text-based games are they're worth it in a historical sense. Playing an old graphic adventure game or something like that, that's actually worth it because it's like this. A graphic adventure game is like what you do. Like all right, I got a cast. Tomorrow morning I'm going to sit at home, have a beer, play this game, relax. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Try to solve puzzles. Text-based games, I would have to look back into text-based games because I haven't played text-based games in a while. That was like, I'm actually an old nerd. No, text-based games are good. I would say if you want to do the original one is get Zork.
Okay.
The one that you start out, you're standing next to a White House that is boarded up. I believe it's how it opens up. That one's pretty good. But the thing is, they're hard.
Yeah, they seem hard.
There's part on Zork where you're actually in a maze, since you have to go north, south, or east or west, but it's a text-based game.
Yeah.
So I'm like trying to draw the map on paper while I'm playing it. But yeah, I haven't played those in a while.
Well, in this game, guys, it's starting to look like we are going to have a Blink Stalker all-in with a Warp Prism and Sentries, where he may Sentry drop, Force Field Domain, and blink all the Stalkers in. But again, it could just be he wants to have this fast robot for Immortal production. He takes a third base. It's going to be one of the two. And this is why Koka's already moved out with Roaches, because he expects this third base. And this may just be a fake. I mean, it's entirely possible with the blink timing that we have here with no Immortals out just yet. Whoop. Oh, he loses the probe. And if he catches these Roaches and cleans them up, he should be fine. But there's so many Zerglings out, and he hasn't made a Warp Prism. So
I wouldn't go for it.
He's not.
I think he actually is gonna. Yeah.
Well, actually, he's making 3 more gateways right now. It's entirely possible he still does it. I mean, this could just be a fake, like an elaborate fake.
Well, I think what he might actually do is do this all-in where he blinks into the main.
Yeah,
like,
blink
pressures
into the main.
front, because the Ohana's a map where blinking into the main is actually a completely doable thing.
It's really easy, and you can force seal the ramp then of your opponent as well to trap him outside. But the longer this goes on, I mean, he's missed his timing window. He hasn't made a Warp Prism, and his Stalkers are kind of stuck here right now, so I think he is just going to go ahead and take a third. But the problem for him, though, is that the Infestation Pit's already researching Pathogen Glands. He's got the third base up. He's had it for a while now. Zerg player looking in good shape here. He's made a lot of units, but they're not being wasted. They're just threatening here. And at any moment, he can't move out because of these Zerglings. There's even a larger group of Zerglings that he doesn't even know about yet. And he's going to send those down now.
He's actually got to be careful. He can actually, really nice force fields there. Bouncing those Zerglings right off the wall.
A lot of Zergs there would have committed just because they were afraid of getting trapped, but I like that Koka says, no, not even going to risk it. I'm just going to get out of here as best I can.
I'm kind of confused now because that third base is so late. I would actually think it'd be better to rush in there and do some kind of an attack.
I think he says to himself now, well, after I saw those units, maybe I'm okay with this late base. You didn't make that many drones if you have that many lings out. The worker count right now is 65
but
to
did
60.
he actually make that many lings?
59.
Oh, that's actually a lot. Okay.
He's only up 6 workers right now, and part of that's because he just made 10. But he was actually behind in workers for a brief period of time there. And from this, I see what Lura's thinking. Getting the robotic support bay up, knowing that Infestors are likely the next logical step. Bit of a risk to do that, but since he's already seen the Infestation Pit, and unless his opponent goes for Spire, it's pretty obvious. In fact, now he's seen the Infestors with the Observer, so he knows what's up. He's not doing this blindly. Pretty smart overall. It looked like he was going to do that Blink Stalker all-in, which is a great build to do on this map, but he just played it safe. Now there's a Spire going up. He's got the 4th base, he's got Hive Tech on the way, and this is going to be for greater Spire Tech. So if our Protoss stays here, stays too passive for too long, then he's going to have to deal with the Broodlords.
Right, he's got to be careful here.
He cannot
Is he actually just going to try to do one of those
Destiny
mass
attacks?
mass
Infested
Terrans? Yeah.
may.
I don't know why I wasn't able to find that word. Whoa!
Those
just a few holes in those force fields,
Yeah.
but he could have actually gotten a good fourth of that army.
Force field's not the best there. Now the supply actually evened up. That's never a position you want to be when you're trying to detect a greater Spire. You want to be leagues ahead in supply so you can afford to do that. But our Protoss player is really playing passively at this point. He may go out with 2 Colossi with range. This is something you see in almost all matchups. 2 Colossi with range. It seems like the time to go oftentimes.
Well, I mean, it's going to be really good in this situation because the Zerg got so many Zerglings, like 2 Colossus beams at the same time, and the Zerglings like vaporize.
Yeah, and he's now adding 3 gateways. Looks like he wants to go soon. He's got the Templar Archives transition. It's ready, set to go as well. 8 spines on the way for our Zerg. This game has played out a little bit strangely. All the timings have been a little bit weird. Like, it seemed like he was going to go for an attack, then he had a late third. The Zerg expected the third to be on time, but then he had a bunch of units he wasn't using. Now his Greater Spire is out here when he doesn't have a huge supply lead, so he's a little bit vulnerable. This game has been pretty strange, to say the least.
Okay, Protoss can actually push now.
And since he has so many Zealots, 18 of them, in fact, he's getting charged, which I like, because if you do have this many Zealots, you
might as well, yeah.
Look at this. The Frost is up 40 supply. This never should be like this. Those spines are not going to be enough against the amount of firepower and the range of the Colossi.
Well, yeah, he can actually just push.
He can't afford Broodlords either, really. I mean, he's making 6 Corruptors right now, but he doesn't have the gas to make all the bursts.
I think we're going to see him go out now. Now, Zerg may try to loop around here and hit the 4th base, in which case, if I was Protoss, I'd be like, whatever, and just go hit the Zerg hard.
That's exactly what's going to happen, I think. Yeah. That's the only option that Coca really has here. Lure looking great right now. Remember, he has charge as well. He's going to catch all these units, and this is not something that Coca can afford right now. He is so low on units. Spine Crawlers alone are not going to be enough when that +3 finishes.
All right, he's just going to do it. All right, let's see if he has the manpower to tear down this wall.
And it looks like he will. No, Broodlords are out. He doesn't have the money. The Zealots are just tanking so much damage. The Archon's doing so much, but the Spines still remain alive here.
Yeah, the angle he's coming at, actually, he's managed to get a bunch of bungles off that actually slow down the Zealots. That Zerg's actually doing a decent job here, but is this going to be enough? He needs to get a sentry out here, try to force field the main ramp.
He's making 1 Broodlord and 1 Mutalisk.
Well, that's definitely not going to be very helpful.
And the Broodlord's dying to a sentry right now as it's morphing.
It's the only time this ever happened in StarCraft 2 history. A Broodlord dies to a sentry.
He didn't kill it. It has 12 hit points left. I can't believe that happened. You guys didn't see it, but that's actually crazy. The Broodlord will finish.
The sentries and the Stalkers and Immortals pushing in here right now.
He just
drones are being evacuated. Now, Protoss is not doing a superb job of reinforcing here. Well, actually, yeah, he is. There's more reinforcements. Yeah. Never mind.
His Stalker count is a little bit low here, but the Archon alone, it takes out the Broodlord. And now he's trying to move these spines, but they're being killed, and this is the end.
I think we're going to see GG here, guys, as Coca's brief debut here is now going to end, and we're going to see who the final player here from MVP, or rather from Slayers, excuse me, is going to be.
The Broodlord timing was way off.
He's making him dance.
Dancing the Zealots. All right, this is actually his way of saying players recently are not leaving games when they should. Yes. I'm actually with him on that.
Oh, well, let me tell you something about that, man. When I'm like, he's dead, and then I see the buildings lift off and fly to the corner, I'm like, ready to get out of my chair and go over to the computer and unplug it and be like, listen, man.
Sorry, Coca, man. You made the Greater Spire at the worst possible time. Get out. Look at all the larvae he has. He has, in fact, 38 larvae he can't spend.
There is, yep. Coca it's over. He's now going to go into the heart. The tech tree is going to be reset as the layer is destroyed, or hive is destroyed.
Look at his hands, man. That's the fastest way to do nothing I've ever seen. Well, 27 supply left. The hive is dying. He's remaking that infestation pit. Maybe, 2 Stargates going down. I don't know what those are going to be for. Maybe he's going to try to go carriers or something to embarrass him. What is happening here? This is like not cool anymore. Sorry, man. I know you're the second to last player for your team, but your team is probably sitting over there feeling a little bit ashamed that you haven't left yet.
Well, I at least in the spirit of time, Slayer's going to deliberate and say, all right, who are we going to pick? I think we're going to pick Ryung.
I think so. I would.
Right, give it your best shot, Ryung.
Ryung over MMA at this point. They probably wanted to use both, but they tried to use some snipers. The snipers failed, and now you got to pull Ryung out. All right,
we're about to see all the buildings get destroyed. GG.
GG. 0 supply left. That's it. I don't think I've ever seen someone wait that long to leave a game before in my casting career.
That was a little bit painful to cast right there. All right, Coca is done. He gave it his best shot. And
his best shot.
I'm really happy for Leo. You can see, okay, my first stage match, I did it. I feel great.
And his attack was smart. He kept scouting what his opponent was up to. When he saw that many spine crawlers, he was like, wait a minute. That's kind of weird. Why would you have that many spines? And then, why did Coca think he could get Broodlords at that moment? That didn't even make sense. He knew he lost so many units, and then he tried to attack again and lost even more while he was getting the Greater Spire and his Hive Tech up. Unbelievable that he thought he could do that. he just clearly his mind wasn't in the right place. I'm not sure what he thought he was in a different stage or a different phase of the game than he was. Everything about that game was weird though, with the late third Nexus.
Well, even all the lings at the start.
Yeah.
With the roaches, he's like kind of. I'm like, well,
he
what
prepared to heavily pressure a base that wasn't there, and then from there he was like, well, how do I make my next move? How do I use these units that I've made? And he couldn't quite use them appropriately, even with the poor force fields that we saw in that one engagement. I mean, his opponent just had the right unit composition at every time. He scouted well with his observer, saw the infestation pit, got the Colossi out. He was prepared.
He was. I want to know. I'm actually like not even interested in that game. I don't care about that game. I want to know who's the next guy who's going to come out here.
I think it's going to be Ryung.
That game actually was pretty generic. That was.
That was like, well,
if that
too greedy,
game was
now
like
you die.
food, that's like, the Wonder Bread of games right there. Okay.
That was, saltine crackers, man.
Oh, I hate those. Do you like saltine crackers?
I think they're okay. I mean,
what do you put on saltine crackers?
I used to put peanut butter on when I'm a kid, or when I'm a kid, I used the wrong grammar
But
tense.
now you're grown up because you're 22. It's your birthday.
22 on June 22nd.
Yes.
I mean,
whoa. That only happens once, man.
It does, man. But
if we're really into math, we can wait till you're 44, and on June 22nd, then we can try to do something cool with that.
My father and I share birthdays, but since we live in different time zones, we kind of don't.
Oh, really?
So I have to call him after this because now he's awake, I'm sure, at this point. I got to give him a call and wish him a happy birthday. But, saltine crackers, I like them because they don't have too many calories, if you don't eat too many.
Yeah.
And they're salty, so they kind of go with any sweet drink.
I don't do crackers. I do baguettes with cheese.
Okay, I like that.
That's good.
I like that, man. I'm down with that.
Like a little bit of red wine. Ladies.
Who's it going to... Is Box
Slayer's Jessica gets up and goes in there. I'm like, you're kidding me. All right, who's it going to be?
Could be Puzzle.
Could be Thorzane.
Yeah, that's true as well. It's going to be Puzzle. Now, Puzzle has actually shown the best results so far this season for his team, but is he all around good enough like Ryung to come out? It's hard to say, but that's the choice that Jessica, Boxer, and Sella have made. They put their heads together, they've made this choice, and they've got a good feeling about it at least.
Well, we'll see. It's going to be cool to see how long Puzzle can last. We're going to have a PvP here. I do think Puzzle will probably win this one.
I think, Lure has shown crazy PvP in the past. Like I said, I've cast more PvP of him than any other matchup. I've seen him do a proxy Stalker Rush. I'm sure you've seen this, or you've probably done this on the ladder too, where you hide your first gateway, then you make a core at that proxy location, then you just rush out Stalkers from there.
Right.
It's a very technical build. We've seen him do that in the past. He's done cannon rushes, but the map choice for Puzzle is going to be Whirlwind, a very difficult map to
And this is a very, very big map, I guess we could say. So maybe we're going to see a long PvP. I actually love it when we get long PvPs.
I think the long PvP is something that is really awesome to watch.
All right, guys, we're going to take a 5-minute break. When we get back, we're going to see if Lure can take out Puzzle here in today's GSTL.